Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Horror Review, the show where we look at horror movies across the genre of horror and give them reviews. My name is Zach, and today we'll be looking at an indie horror film from 2008 titled The House of Bedlam. Bedlam was directed by Paul Gorman, written by Paul Gorman as well. Bedlam came out October 11, 2008 and it's a MaddyG TV production. The plot of the movie is 200 years after this event back in the 1800s, a group of college students go out on a trip looking for something to do with plant botany or something, and they stumble across the old abandoned house as soon as revealed to be haunted by some spirits of these girls back from the 1800s who were murdered for being prostitutes, and they soon start picking off each of the group members. When I first saw this, well, not saw the actual movie, but saw the case and all that of it, read about the stuff about it, I was like, this looks pretty good. But I soon find out it's a very indie film with an almost YouTube quality, I guess I could say, with very boring characters.
Alright, be right back.
Tell them to hurry up. We don't have all day.
I know.
Well, I mean, there is a few parts that I found kind of enjoyable, but overall it was, let's just say it wasn't good, but it wasn't completely unbearable. To start off with, throughout the movie, there are a lot of moments that I find to be very cringe-inducing and not real to life, with decisions characters make and choices of music or sound. Also, it has a quality that reminds me of a little short film I did for school in my senior year of high school.
Yeah, so did you see the game last night?
Yeah. Actually,
Kind of sucked.
Yeah.
you guys want to head?
No, I'm good.
No, thanks. It's very amateurish and a little iffy with how it's put together. I noticed that while watching it, stuff never really tended to move smoothly. It didn't have that smooth flow going through the movie. It was like very rough and kind of hard to watch until things got picked up and going a little bit. But even then, stuff like the acting being kind of plain or boring or a bit overdone with some of the things that are said and reactions by the characters and all that. There's a lot of special effects that are like kind of pretty silly, but some of them, the more practical effects, reminded me of those old 80s movies with the practical gore and all that. But ones I'm specifically referring to is the visual effects with done with computers, the digital stuff. Looked very almost like a college student or high school student put together the digital effects. Also, another thing is, again, going back to the music, there's some of the parts of the movie where the music, it's that stereotypical amateur indie film music. I looked it up and it's called something about garage band grind or something, but it doesn't fit well. There's one of the parts, for instance, it's supposed to be a pretty tense and scary part where the people from the church come to kill the prostitutes back in the 1800s, and they come in and it turns to some like rock metal stuff, and it's just, and I was watching it questioning why this was used, because it kind of makes it distracting, like to keep focused on the tenseness, and it just takes away from that tense, scary feeling. There's also another part of the music. It's not the garage band grind stuff, but it's the drum beats. It's played through parts that aren't even necessary, and it doesn't really make sense. And like what I mentioned earlier, the movie itself has a very YouTube-ish, cheap skit feel. 'Cause, I mean, I've worked on little cheap, like, just take my phone camera and record a skit or something for YouTube. It has that kind of feel to it. It's just like, kind of weird. But to be honest, there are some parts of the movie that gives it a little bit of a charm that makes it like, hey, I kind of like that part, you know? The comedic parts are the parts that are actually a decent addition to it. I did enjoy most of the more comedic aspects of the movie. But again, like, this is a horror film, but I kind of like it when some horror movies give a little bit of comedy, put them in, you know, it makes it more real to life. It makes it seem legit, like they're real people. And there was one character I found pretty interesting, and when it comes to the comedic part, it was let me look at my notes. Eddie, who is played by actor Jonzo Cipriani. Not really sure how to pronounce the last name, but I found some of his dialogue, some of the most funniest parts of it, from him out there getting high and stuff and talking shit about, talking shit about Brad, how he's out there trying to do the botany stuff, the plant stuff, and calls him a dandophiliac, basically saying he fucked plants. And another part was, there was that little ghost girl when he's sitting on the fire, and he says something about a costume party and something about forgetting his Boba Fett mask at home. Found that pretty funny. So we're gonna now talk about the kills that were in the movie. Most of the kills weren't the best, especially the first few from the flashback back to the 1800s with, again, the special effects, the blood. It looks really silly. But there was a couple and a few special effects that were physical, practical effects that were pretty decent. One and such was probably my favorite. It has to do with Eddie again. He is approached in the woods when he's alone by one of the spirits of the prostitutes named Victoria, who is played by Marie Madison, aka MaddyG from MaddyG TV, who was also a writer and producer on this film. She approaches him and basically seduces him into smoking weed and stuff with her or whatever, and then ends up killing him by, first I think she bit his penis off, which don't see that much. I think there was one other movie that I've seen that before, and I think that was in Beyond Reanimator. The only other time I remember seeing someone's penis get bitten off in a horror movie, but his penis gets bitten off, I think it implies that. And then next thing you see the tent going crazy, you hear Eddie screaming, and just a leg like it had been skinned, like, and eaten or whatever. A fake leg. It looks kind of goofy, but kind of a bit of a charm to it, because that, like an 80s movie with the weird practical effects that sometimes looks fake, but still looks better than some digital effects. And that's probably my favorite kill of the movie. Then also later on with, after two final people, gotta think of their names, Abby and Brad go off looking for the sheriff, and the sheriff takes them back to the house to try and find their friends, and they end up getting attacked by all the spirits of the prostitutes in the house. And Brad, he gets like its guts torn out or something, and it looks pretty good. But then at the end of the movie, let's go back to the start of the movie first to understand this a bit better. So before they ever get to the town of Bedlam, they're on their way and they stop on a highway at an old gas station. They go inside. I mean, for one, I don't see anyone doing this. It's clearly ran down and doesn't look nowhere near open, so why go in it and then find I think it was supposed to be like an Indian dude. He had a shotgun or something, or was it a automated gun? So this Indian dude, who's supposed to be the owner of the rundown gas station, again, doesn't make sense why they go in there, but he threatens them to get out, and when they're in there, they see the ghost girl, which shows that maybe this guy is up with something with them, but that's the only time you see him throughout almost the entire movie. But then right at the end, Abby gets out of the house, thinks she gets away, and out of nowhere, you get a Final Destination style hit and run with those ridiculous digital effects, but I kind of loved it because it was kind of funny in a way. Because then the car stops and window rolls down and dude sticks out the window. It's the fucking Indian dude. And last thing you hear of the movie is, "Thank you, come again." And I'm like, what the fuck was that? What? Like, and the movie just ends like that. Which I thought it was pretty funny though. Throughout watching it in the watching the bonus stuff, could tell the cast really enjoyed themselves while filming the film, and that does count for a lot. But still, there is just way too much roughness to it and very choppy and doesn't flow smoothly. Hopefully some of the later movies made by MaddyG TV and, you know, directed by Paul Gorman and all them is a bit more polished and better looking, which I have faith that they could be, but my overall opinion is that it was at least decently bearable for a film with almost a YouTube-ish amateur quality. But I do really encourage everyone that was involved in making this film to keep trying and don't give up, and, you know, eventually you're going to get places, just got to keep pushing. Also, before I go and end this video up, I want to thank Miss MaddyG and company for allowing me to make this review video and to use some of the footage. Would possibly enjoy, I don't know how it work, make like a interview sometime, you know, over Skype, Zoom. Not really big on knowing about that stuff, but you know, I figure stuff out easily, and I'd probably get it figured out. An interview or something, asking questions, you know, just something fun, you know. Hope you guys enjoyed it, found it interesting. Should totally go check out MaddyGTV.com. We'll leave a link in the description below. And check out some of their movies. They have DVDs, Blu-rays, and stuff on the website. Watch it, stuff online and all that. They also have Facebook, which is MaddyG TV. I know they sell their stuff on places like eBay and Mercari under the same name of MaddyG. But again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, stay spooky. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.